All right, you've seen the product. Now it's time to take action. It's all about that miracle food. My man Chakra Doctor has put some of the greatest superfoods on the planet here in one bottle for you. I know we see COVID going crazy and a lot of different things, testing our immune system. This right here is a perfect cleanse and reboot. Great for the immune system and a great anti-inflammatory. Miracle food. Tell them Viral Hip Hop News sent you. Let's go.
Access to ideas that represent actual solutions, right? And some of those solutions are from, are going to be more on the left, like they're going to be more in the Democrat space. Some of the solutions are going to be on the right. They might sound a little Republicanish, but at the end of the day, you got to form the right set of solutions that's going to work for you. Because if you get to the point where you letting the Democrats tell you, well, don't go talk to the Republicans, or you letting the Republicans tell you, well, oh, don't listen to those Democrats, then you're going to miss the point. The point is we put ourselves first, we take care of our own, and we're going to find a solution wherever it's at. So right now, actually, this is a big win for the community because everybody's learning lessons. All the people who were on that bullshit before the election are crumbling right before your eyes. And I'm just telling people, remember this. Remember the emotions you're having right now. 2-3 years from now, when they start pulling the same okie doke out on you, you'll know a little bit better and you'll be able to operate a little bit different.
Powerful. Yep, curious to see that. And I think it's going to be a good step in our direction the next 4 years. We had Ernest Lee Thomas on yesterday. I don't know if you know what Ernest Lee Thomas is, the brother from What's Happening, Raj from What's Happening.
Okay, yeah.
And he had a real a very poignant point on policing, and he said all white police should not be allowed to pull over anybody black unless they have someone black present. And he was going to take it to Joe Biden. And we were kind of laughing and saying it's not a snowball chance in hell Joe Biden's going to listen to that. But then he said, I'll take it to Maxine Waters. And he was very adamant about it. He was serious about it. No white cop should be pulled over or pull over a black human being unless in the company of other black human beings. What do you think about that?
I think that could work. I mean, the problem with the police that makes it so sinister is that the police department was formed on a racist foundation to begin with.
Yes, sir. There you go.
Yeah, the police started off as slave patrols, and I've even had cops tell me, my dad was a cop, so I kind of have a little bit of a different point of view on it. But I remember him telling me that that basically police are not here to protect everybody, protect and serve everybody. I've heard cops tell me that police are here to protect white people from black people, rich people from poor people. And that's the way it was always done for a long time. And they've changed that a little. They tried to change that a little bit, but you can't really take something too far away from its actual roots. And so the whole formation of policing in America is racist at its core. What I hope people will start doing as well is looking at the whole criminal justice system, not just the area that the Democrats give us permission to talk about, which is police shootings, right? Because what happens is you have one shooting. Everybody talks about that one shooting, that one incident, that one person for weeks. And what happens is when they get all your attention on that one thing, you're missing all the other things that are happening at the same time, right? So what I would like to see is a more holistic kind of way of looking at it to say, what is this whole criminal justice system? Everything from the stop and frisk all the way down to when the guy's thrown in prison and he's beaten and raped and starved for the next 10, 15 years. How does all this go down and how does this affect the community, right? Let's talk about when he goes in front of a jury of his alleged peers and it's a bunch of white people who are determined to send him away as long as possible. Don't care that he's got a daughter at home or nothing like that. Like, we got to talk about all of that and not just think that somehow if we fix the police shooting issue, that's going to be the cure-all solution. Right now, we are stuck in the world of symbolism. You have the ambulance chases. The Ben Crump shows up. Does a press conference, gets a settlement for the family. The civil rights superstars Al Sharpton, Tamika Mallory said it will show up and do their thing. Next thing you know, they're on the Grammys like we're celebrating something. What the fuck are you celebrating? Like, what do you say? What did you accomplish other than the fact that you made yourself famous? Congratulations, but you didn't actually solve the problem. So I think we need real problem solvers at the table. You got black folks out here that are sociologists, criminologists, attorneys who can sit and form committees that can actually come up with adequate solutions. And we have to have people that have power that can push those solutions forward, right? So ideally, for example, let's say you take a guy, let's go back to Ice Cube, who's just been a great partner to the community in terms of what he did. He made Black history when he did. To me, what he did this past election was even as great as what he did when he made Fuck the Police, as great as his whole music career, any movies ever made. There's nothing he's ever done, in my view, that was greater than what he did in this last election. And I've been an Ice Cube fan since I was a teenager, man. I love, like, he was one of my favorite artists, right? But I felt that what he did in this election was greater than all of that. So let's say you take a guy like that who can unapologetically use that power in his platform to push an agenda, and then in the backdrop, you've got, you know, all the thinkers and all the scholars that are making sure that when he moves forward, he's representing the community in an adequate way with solutions that are going to be effective. And then what you do is you basically put a baseball bat over the head of the politicians, and you say, if you don't do ABC 1, 2, 3 XYZ contract with Black America, they put that together. Everybody should look at that. If you don't do that, we will not support you politically. We will not buy your products. You say that to the corporations. We will not buy your products, right? You're not getting anything from us unless you implement the solutions that we demand you implement. That's how you make a list of demands. That's how you get it done. So the blueprint's out there. We just have to follow it.
Powerful, powerful. Well, that being said, I'm talking about, you know, police brutality. Derek Chauvin, he put in a motion for a new trial. What is your thoughts on that? And do you think that he'll be granted a new trial for murdering George Floyd?
I think that he probably will. I don't think it's going to work. I think that Chauvin, the video was so clear and egregious that it was, I can't even imagine how they could allow him to go free on any level without the consequences being huge. Now, mind you, in my view, honestly, I think that with the thing with him and George, the fact that they used to work together makes me wonder what else is really going on. You know, I mean, yeah, we want to make it simple. Like, oh, he just did that. He would have done it to any Black person. Maybe he would have, but I feel like he just didn't like him, right? I think that was just what he did was so terrible. But either way, though, he murdered that man, and he deserves to be in prison. And I think people know that. I think Maxine Waters made it a little bit worse because she was sort of doing exactly what people on the Trump side were doing. You know, like when you open that can of worms where you're like, oh, the Republicans are inciting violence because this is this. Well, when you're talking about basically like I want you to run up on anybody who doesn't agree with you, right? And do harm to that person. Well, you're kind of flirting with that line where people can then accuse you of inciting violence. And I think that when the lawyers move forward, what their argument is going to be, and it's going to be a strong one actually, is that an environment was created where people were not allowed to have their own opinion anymore without being threatened, you know, with whether it's violence or with some sort of penalty. And that's just really, I don't like that. Like, I kind of feel like you can make your point. Like, I can tell you, if you and I disagree, I can tell you, look, I don't agree with what you said, and here's what I really think, without me saying, well, if I hear you disagreeing with me, I'm never going to be your friend. If I see you, I'm gonna kick your ass. You know what I mean? I'm gonna harass your children on the way to school, right? That's a whole nother line. And the thing is that Democrats and Republicans cross that line, and that's why I don't recommend for Black folks to get involved with the Democrat Republican stuff. Just be pro-Black and do just do the right thing. Do the right thing for your community. You don't have to be be a thug in order to make a point. And right now, our country's on the brink of destruction because people are just fighting. They're too busy fighting than they are to actually coming up with solutions.
Indeed.
Powerful.
Good, man. This is Sam Ant, CEO of Viral Hip Hop News. Listen, I appreciate each and every one of y'all who are going to check out this documentary. Shout out to my man Lonnie Fresh. Do me a favor. Go to YouTube right now. Go subscribe to Viral Hip Hop News, one of the best hip hop platforms out here right now. We also have The Hub, Hip Hop News Uncensored, of course, the podcast, the baddest podcast out, the Hip Hop Uncensored podcast. We drop 7 days a week, doing this thing 100% independent.
There was not one day that I was at work on the Fresh Prince of Bel-Air that I wished I was somewhere else.
Now let's talk about the Players Club, because you, I think, correct me if I'm wrong, that's like your first major role in a movie, right?
Taking over the game. Really appreciate each and every one of y'all. You can grab merch on the YouTube site. You can talk to me on there and much more. Sam Ant, CEO of Viral Hip Hop News. Appreciate each and every one of y'all. Oh God, you the man, Cass. I spit white like a Klan mask, and I'm a hustler.